Hey Barry, this is my movie review for Boy. Very interesting film, I will say. I wasn't expecting it to be what it was at all. But yeah, let's just get straight into it. I think the first thing I want to discuss is the storytelling and the plot. I was struggling as when I was watching it for the first time just to understand where it wanted to go and like what it was trying to accomplish. It seemed like it was introducing like a lot of different characters with different motivations and different roles in the story, and obviously follow our protagonist throughout the film to see what his perspective is in all of them. And uh, I was really enjoying seeing the way they interacted. I thought they all had very good personality, and I thought like overall, that the main structure of the film came from, the way the characters interacted with each other, which was really good. I mean, as far as the actual plot goes, I thought it was it was pretty strange. I mean, you didn't. I think the plot didn't really come together, for me at least, until they started, looking for the treasure. And we kind of see the developments with the main character and the father, quote unquote, the father. And after they, discover that there's treasure somewhere, and the goat eats it and kind of ruins their dynamic a little bit, but you still see them kind of persisting and trying to be close again. It's like it's very, it was very family oriented, and I enjoyed seeing how that relationship developed throughout the film. And I think like overall, like it was something that was really fun. I mean, I would like to see more of that because I feel like the conclusion of how that relationship was going wasn't really satisfying for me. But I mean, overall, like I think the film kind of did really a good job of making sure that, in the end, at least the audience knew that, the kid and the father were still kind of, trying their best to make things work for each other, which I thought was really heartwarming. So the pacing of the story was pretty good. I mean, I don't really have any complaints about it. I wish it was longer. I'm not gonna lie, because I wanted to see more of like the town people and the characters that we were enjoying. So, I mean, tension of the film, I think that really starts when uh as I explained, when they lose the treasure, when the goat eats the treasure. That's when think it really started to pick up, which is pretty was towards the end of the film anyway, which I thought was, they could have introduced that a little bit earlier to make it more of a, to tell more story. I think I would probably say, but it's not that big of a deal. So any plot twist, I mean, I guess that is the plot twist, right? That the goat ate the money, and then he got the goat ended up getting killed, which was a very depressing for that goat and for the main character. But I mean, it's a very difficult story to explain. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I watched it twice already, and I'm still struggling to piece together what it was trying to accomplish exactly. But I think like if you look at it from the perspective of just being a film that wants to tell a story about, townspeople that, don't always get things right but still try their hardest, I think it's a pretty good movie. Uh, let's go with the character development. So yeah, I think the character development is pretty. I think that's probably where the film's shown the most. I mean, the main character obviously, has this obsession with Michael Jackson, and he wants to sort of almost be this great pretender of somebody he wants to be. And I think overall, like that was really his arc. He went from being someone who kind of fell into the trap of always believing who his father was, and kind of wanted to be like him in a way, and always like believe the things that he said. But in the end, he realizes like, yeah, this guy does have problems, and in the end, he did set him straight. I think he slapped him in the face like two or three times towards the end, and it was very like, oh shoot, like this guy has like for the little kid, he has like you know a lot of resolve to do that. Because I mean, when he showed the father the money, you could have assumed like, yeah, the father's gonna flip out, and he did. But the one who took the initiative was the kid, was Boy. I was like, oh shoot, like that, I didn't expect that. So I mean, I guess that is a form of development, because I think before at the start of the movie, when he was almost idolizing this guy. He would have never done that, but after seeing and hanging out with him, what he's kind of capable of, he's like, you know what, maybe you're not so such a good role model, but you know what, I'm still gonna stick by you anyway, which I think is a good message. I think it's a good message. And then I think for the father as well, uh, his arc was kind of the same in a way. I mean, he obviously wants to impress the kids, and he's not the greatest person. Like, he doesn't have that much money. He's not really and has any kind of inspiring job. He hangs out with the small group of friends that he calls a gang, and he goes to clubs every other night and takes his kids with him. Takes the boy with him. So I mean, he's not like a totally inspiring character to analyze, but at the same time, uh, I think his arc is just as interesting as the main characters, isn't it? Because I think when he was introduced, it was like you already had an expectation that he was gonna kind of be this guy who held up this facade, and he kind of maintains it throughout the film. But towards the end, I see that after he ends up losing the money, and he's kind of like, I don't know what to do. Uh, he ends up taking sort of what's the word, uh a more humble role in the film, I would say, maybe, because I mean, obviously his friends took his car, and he's pretty much lost everything that he wanted and he ever had. So but even in that struggle, and even in that despair, he still you know went to see I think his wife's grave. And I mean, I think that's all he probably could have done. But at the same time, I think uh, him having that sort of resolve not to just sink into this state of depression was pretty impressive. So his arc's a bit, uh, you know, it's not the same as boys, but at the same time, I think it's very telling of, like, human struggle and human story, which I thought was pretty good. Uh, so let's move on to the last part. Um, let's do something interesting. Um, let's go with uh, takeaways for filmmaking. Why not? So, strengths and weaknesses of the film. I mean, one of the things I thought the film did really well was giving everybody a moment, giving everybody a personality. I thought the characters really uh, carried the story, which, I mean, I think that's how most good films operate anyway. Um, and then for the weaknesses, I don't know if it was just me or if it's like an audio-visual thing, but it was very difficult to hear what they were saying sometimes, and there was no captions on the film. So I was kind of like replaying some of the scenes to see, like, what did he say and things like that. So, I mean, but to get to the more you know, storytelling and plot heavy stuff, I mean, weaknesses, I guess I think it tried to do too much in too little time. I mean, it accomplished a lot with, like, having characters come full circle with their arcs and things like that. But I think, like, overall, like, I wasn't really satisfied with the ending. I mean, it seemed like it was just a film that told a story that led to nothing. But I mean, I don't think that makes it a bad film particularly. I think it means, like, you know, I don't know if the filmmaker's intent was to, create an environment like that, and only have a few characters really take a shine, or maybe that's something they wanted to emphasize for the main character. Maybe that's, I don't know. But I mean, me personally, I think the film could have been a whole lot better if it was had more time to tell its own story. So I think that probably could have been better. And then, storytelling techniques, I thought, uh, I like the transitions were great. I thought, like, the one of the things I really liked about the film was that when you see the kid's thoughts, I forget his name, but the little brother of boy, it would have, like, little drawings of, like, his imagination and seeing things, like, uh, come to life on the paper. And I thought that was really cool. So I think creatively, like, it's a good film. Like, it's not like it lacked creativity. Like, it was very interesting in the way it had, different perspectives, and it had different ideas of, like, people in the world, and it had a bunch of different devices that make characters do different decisions. So I mean, it was decent. I mean, it's not. I don't think this is the best film you're ever gonna watch, but at the same time, I think there's stuff in it that you can analyze and take into your own filmmaking and things that you want to do. So yeah, hopefully that's a decent movie review. It was really difficult to review this movie because I think it's a bunch of everything and a bunch of nothing at the same time, I think. So hopefully you enjoyed that. So all right, see you soon, Barry.